This is a small Twitch streamer named Conneld Jonneld.
Sorry.
He's developed a community on Twitch through his almost infamous ability to run and commit to bits.
Chat, this is a day that no one will forget.
There was something about his personality that reminded me of another creator. No! Conneld recently released an album called YGMFU, and today I'll be reviewing that album blind with my good friend and Twitch streamer Berry Bebop. Is Conneld Jonneld the next Joji? Probably not, but maybe. Probably not. Time skipped, different lighting. So this album, YGMFU, was released recently in 2022 by Conneld Jonneld, and it was produced by Devin Conaway. So let's give it a shot and let's see what happens.
To work, doing 60 and a 30 in an old torn up t-shirt, missing deadlines, reading headlines about these hard times that just get worse. I'm on my own now in my hometown, but it makes my mom feel safe. How am I so close to people but still feel so far away? Work the late shift, lost my patience, all I want is my day to end. Lost my keychain, got a migraine, getting picked up by my best friend. But I realize I can't get inside because I lost my fucking key. I don't care if life doesn't seem to go my way. Check it. They all seem very impressed with my vernacular. Snap and pop the bra strap back, and I'm a crackler. Got her heart racing like batter bit, bitter batter. She's sucking all the baby batter out of a fatter dick. Fuck those kids that you came with. I'ma pump your back out, bitch, cause I slang dick folding. Keep the pussy wet for so long it starts molding, bitch.
What a line.
Let your hair down, let it all out. Don't forget that you gotta breathe. Come to terms with your survival and that everybody leaves. Heart declining, tensions rising, all these problems overseas. No matter what, just keep going. But for now, I'm late to work.
Okay, first of all, that song has 36,000 streams, which is way more than others. Was it released as a single before the other ones?
Like a year ago. Yeah, I believe like a year ago. Yeah, it's been out for a little bit.
That was really well put together. When making a song, it's a little bit like at the Winter Olympics when snowboarders do a routine. You have a potential score, which is influenced by the difficulty of what you're trying to perform, which is like your maximum based off of execution. So there's kind of this thing that happens whenever you're reviewing music or art where it's like, the first question is how well did they do based off of what they were trying to achieve? And the second thing is like, how ambitious were they trying to be with what they created? It wasn't boring. It had a lot going on and it was very cohesive. There's this misconception in art that complexity equates quality, right? And just because something's more complex doesn't mean it's better. Often it's kind of the opposite of that.
Oh yeah.
But if you can make something that's complex cohesive, then it can be really cool and can kind of lead to higher highs. What do you think? Yeah,
I'm really fascinated by the state of music today. I've very much been like, I hate to even say the words like pop punk because that's such a loaded phrase, but like that was certainly the stuff that I listened to as a kid. I'm really fascinated with any guitar-based music. I feel like is more interesting when it's just not entirely guitar music anymore, where you're like messing around with electronics, you're messing around with different sounds, and you're embracing everything coming into this genre blend, which I think is where it comes in with like uniqueness. But it's like, okay, I think that was a pop song, but there's kind of these like vocals that remind me of these like pop punk melodies where it's like, I'm late to work. It's like a little on the whiny side. It's awesome. But then you kind of have this goofy little rap bit that's, you know, really fun. And these beats that are really solid and just all these like fun sounds. Devin is such a fun producer. That song struck me immediately, and a lot of these songs later that we're going to listen to really strike me as just like the drum kits are so fun. And especially with this song, it's kind of like it just goes places you don't expect, especially just the little rap portion, you know, like it didn't feel like it, you know, deserved that early on. And then it happens and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like
it doesn't feel shoehorned either.
No, not at all.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Ooh.
I know it's been a while since we've seen you smile. Are we known.
They're using LFO on the vocals.
I don't even know what that means.
But wait. I was so fucking wrong. What the hell's an LFO? An LFO is a low frequency oscillator. Essentially, it has these peaks and valleys going back and forth. This line can be attached to anything. For example, gain. So now the volume is fluctuating with this line. If we make the peaks and valleys less extreme, the gain will also change less. We can change how quickly the peaks and valleys move, faster and slower, or we can do it on beat to the song based off of the BPM we chose. We can also offset the center of these peaks and valleys by moving it lower or higher, influencing the gain where it starts and ends. Here's a synthesizer without an LFO. Now with an LFO attached to the gain. Okay, here's the thing. If I were to apply an LFO to my voice, it would sound like this. Ah. They can't be using that for this song. So what's making the vocals dip out?
I know it's been a while.
It's likely sidechain compression. Okay, first let me explain what a compressor does. In an oversimplified way, there are two really important parts. The first is that it reduces the peaks of the volume of a sound. Then there is gain compensation. By reducing the loudness of the peaks, you decrease the volume of the sound. So then you compensate by increasing the volume of everything. This results in a thicker sound with less dynamic range. Okay, then what's a sidechain compressor? Instead of compressing all the time, a sidechain compressor uses a trigger. So if I were to go, ah, and I were to apply a sidechain compressor to that sound and then tie it to me going boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. Then whenever my beatboxing came in, the compressor would activate on me singing and reduce the volume completely. Boom, boom, ka. Because most often sidechain compressors are used on kick drums and snares, specifically to create space when there's so much sound going on. By reducing the volume of other things, when the kick hits, it makes it hit harder. But if you use it too intensely, it can drown out whatever you're using. Okay, that was a little confusing. So here, I'm gonna show you.
Those kids that you came with. Fuck those kids that you. Have I put on weight? No, sorry, that's my face. It becomes
really
a
good.
bit of a problem when you're at home for a week straight, forced to masturbate.
I love his voice.
And you're forced to watch the news, and you'll never leave your house again, cause that could happen to you. Old town, and I'm so little. If I pull myself together, then it gets simple. In 2 more weeks, then I'll be fine. If I pull myself together and go outside. I know it's been a while
Just put a snap in the left ear.
since we've seen you smile. For all we've known, you've died. You should come outside.
There we are. Track 2.
That was really good. That was really well put together. I would have preferred if the vocals sat really clean on top of everything else. It's like when it compresses, the vocals are kind of like there on their own above it.
Yeah, I can speak on that a little bit. I think that that's probably my only production gripe with the whole thing, and like I'm nowhere near like as skilled as like Devin, and I like the effect. I just think it's a little too strong. Devin has this is a shout out for Devin's like solo stuff. He has two songs called Feel So and Nevada that are really excellent. They're more upbeat, they're more like kind of straightforward hyperpop songs. Not to say that the production isn't still really dense, but that kind of thing, you know, these kind of weird little tricks, or like at the end there you have just like noise and like stuff that clips a little bit, like you know, the SoundCloud era into this kind of overproduced like super pop stuff. I think that's probably where that decision came from, and I think it was a fun one. It was just a little strong.
You know, that was like my first response too, is it's like it's a little jarring, but sometimes jarring is good. Song number 3.
Watching through the window pane, I can't seem to live without you. Maybe I'm the one to blame. Ooh. Feel the rain fall on my face. I feel so lost when I'm not around you. Maybe I should learn my place. Ooh.
I'm feeling way more confident about this Joji comparison now.
I've got my life on track now. If you wondered, I pushed through the weather and conquered thunder. I miss you around, wish you didn't leave. I understand why you did, but that was bad for me. It's been storming, you've been dormant. But you should come over, company's important. Even home in the rear view.
I'm just sad that they didn't let the vocals sit over. If there's like a compressor that's hitting quick or something like that, that's causing his voice to like dip and come back in.
Got my life on track now. If you wondered, I pushed through the weather and conquered thunder. I miss you around, wish you didn't leave. I understand why you did, but that was bad for me.
I guess it could be like a sine shade compressor.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like cutting off some of these vocals.
I hate that you don't miss me unless you do. I hate you.
This is good writing.
I hate you don't miss me. I hate you.
This is really good.
I have spent the last 8 years of my life running, adapting, changing from something that I don't even know. But now, I see it's you. Running from you. I'll need a new set of views. You got me fucked up. You got me crying. It's 4 a.m. and I'm still denying that I can't eat or I can't sleep. 'Cause you fuck me up inside of my dreams. I'll stay hungry, I'll stay tired, but I still love you. You're the one who's inspired. You challenge my views, you twisted my mental. So if you're gonna fuck me gentle. You got me fucked up.
Yep.
He's good. They're very good at what they do.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is really hard to do. This is really hard to do. This one.
Chills. Actually.
See, this is an arpeggiator that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's all automated.
Yeah, see this like clipping and stuff right here at the end. I love that. Love that
He
stuff.
messes around with clipping a lot, which like distortion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially with, like the bass in the first track.
Very, very hyper pop thing.
Very, very good. It's very hard to do that. It's so hard to do that.
There are few songs, period, that could give me chills the same way the apex of that song does, because there's I mean, obviously the instrumental like builds and it goes to this huge like solo or whatever you want to call it, but like Conneld's like talking about like vibes through vocals, just like and it's just like it's so fun, and And just a quick thing, his lyrics are great and
Yeah.
are very like, Conneld and I think we're like 8 years apart. Like I'm like almost 29, he's like 21. But I relate to kind of all these feelings of this, like a lot of this is kind of this like aimless early 20s. Like I'm working a job and I'm working through all these things and I'm trying to deal with this and, you know, we're like relationships and all this stuff. And this kind of like, I'm at home and I kind of need to be here, but I don't know what to do. And it's just a lot of those little like intimate thoughts are really effective. They're really great.
I mean, and there's a lot of lines that stand out. The first that comes to mind here is like, I hate that you're not thinking about me.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking about me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's like, it's a very relatable feeling. I think most people have experienced that. Like,
Oh yeah.
One of the things about relationships that are so tricky, that so many different, that why it's such a popular topic for music is because if you think about it as like a graph that's growing, how close you are to this person, right? It really does grow and grow and grow and often outgrow most other kind of intimacies in your life. And then eventually you get to this degree of intimacy and then it just is it's an immediate cutoff. It's a cliff, you know, where it goes from maybe the most intimate relationship you have currently to completely separate.
Over.
There's a reason a lot of musicians make songs about that thing, but not everyone so effectively kind of captures the feeling. I think that was a very cool song and very moving and very well done.
One last thing that this song brings to mind for me that I think is interesting, and I think it's emblematic for the whole record, is songs just kind of go where they go. Like there's obviously like, you know, like you could call a hook to that song. Like You Got Me Fucked Up, you know, is the hook to that song, but it kind of goes like verse, you know, hook, bridge, you know, chorus again, or, you know, hook again, and then just like outro, which now that I'm saying it out loud doesn't sound that crazy, but
I think it is kind of weird structure. And so many songs are so structured and so repetitive. And I think you're right. Like, I think that song felt a lot like a journey where there were just like different stages. You know, we've seen it more in a lot of pop music, a lot of hip hop, where there'll be a break just in the middle and it'll be like a completely new song.
I love that so much.
Yeah, me too. Like Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever, it just stops in the middle and has a complete tone change and it's like sick. And it's like a lot of innovation allows people to come along and do really cool stuff. And so like this, it doesn't feel too repetitive. It feels like there's just different stages that it goes through and they all are pretty well put together.
I think that probably my favorite lyric of the whole project is, if you're going to fuck me gentle.
Gently, yeah.
It's obviously kind of funny. And then also it's like, you know, like, cause especially like it kind of harkens back to like Late to Work, like kind of all these like sex jokes and stuff like that are almost like out of place from these next two songs. But that moment right there is like, I both feel this and it makes me smirk. And then it goes into like, cause there's so much like emotion in that delivery. And then like you can hear him smiling and then it just goes into it. And it's just like a big moment and it's a ton of fun.
This song dances very comfortably in a very unique space. I think it's more important right now than ever in the music industry to be unique. Being good isn't enough. There's such a saturation of music. Creation is becoming so available. And so many people are creating so much music. There's such a huge saturation of music in the current industry. Being unique and standing out is as important as being good. And I think that Conneld is embracing his personality and kind of taking that, and in that song, I think creating like a really well put together song, I guess. Next one. All right. You hearing it?
Yeah, I'm a little ahead, but it's fine.
Gotcha.
This is his favorite song on the record, as said by him on stream on Friday.
All of the grooves have been really good, especially like the middle three songs. Like the first song I liked, it was well done, but like
it's a different song.
Drums here are just like. Yes, I told you. I think you're very cool anyways. No.
Sorry, I just figured out what you were doing.
Fuck you, I don't need your help. I've got this all done by myself. Sever all the ties, start telling lies. Time to realize I'll never change. Oh God, we didn't get like this today, but
night I sit alone and pray, begging you don't forget my name. I just wanna make you proud, and I can't do wrong if I'm not around. Don't you dare look down on me, cause I'm not who I used to be. A better version, and you'll see I'm trying. Don't you see I'm trying? It's my fault that I've been distant. I can't even blame the distance. I'll stay behind my silly screen while the people I love get up and leave. All I need is you right here beside me, cause I'm afraid of who I might be in a year or two. I won't even recognize you now. I know the time is fleeting. I can't imagine how you're feeling. Baby, it's my fault again, I don't know. That's my love. I wanna get that's my love. I wanna get sometimes I find I get lonely. It's my goal to still and if you hang up that long, I find myself that's my I wanna get that's my I wanna get
Okay. First thing, looking at the length of this song made me realize that You Got Me Fucked Up was 5 minutes long.
I know.
So the middle song, which is funny because this one I could tell was 4 minutes long, and the average song is 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 3 minutes and 30 seconds or somewhere in that range, with a lot of give or take depending on the song.
Yep.
And generally speaking, you don't want anyone to like notice it's running long, which is tricky because there's always going to be someone that feels that way about every song, but it's about general trends,
Yeah.
That song, I completely get why it's his favorite. I think it's very well done. I think it's what we were talking about with the production is like they're being ambitious with what they're trying to do, and they're going for some kind of crazy production decisions, like having a really distorted guitar in one ear in your right channel and then a really, really intense distorted vocal in another channel is very jarring. And for me, it like didn't mesh, if that makes sense.
Really?
Like I think that,
Wow.
yeah, I think there were lots of production decisions in here that I felt were overdone. That being said, first thing is that it's a million times easier to overdo it and step back as like a person trying to improve than it is to slowly work your way up to like making something unique and interesting. So I would always argue anyone getting into music should be more jarring, should be more extreme, act more purposefully, and like go really intense and like try to do intense production things that don't work, that are too much. And I wouldn't say that anything in here didn't work, but was too much for me. But all of them were really clever and really interesting. And overall, it wouldn't shock me if like this is the most popular song in a year, right, from the album.
It's the most played out of the new tracks.
But like it makes sense. Like it is, once again, what I was saying is like the most important part of the game right now is making something that's unique. A lot of people think the goal is to like make the best product possible now, but I think the goal should be to improve the most with every project as possible.
That's a hard sell. You're right. But nobody wants to look back on their work and think it was a stepping stone. They want to think, man, I'm really proud of this, which is inevitable usually anyways. Not always, but most of the time you look back at your old work and you're like, wow, I'm so much better now. But I think with music, especially because it's so vulnerable, you really want to like get it right immediately. And so it's hard to look at it as getting better over time. At least it is for me personally.
I hear that, but I think you got to learn, like most successful artists learn to be proud of what they did with their capability, because like ideally you don't want to make something so good now that can't be improved on, because then you have no ceiling. Like you have nowhere to grow. Theoretically, you kind of like want always some clear way to go, because if there's no notes that we give on this, it could be hard for them as musicians to know, okay, I want to make something better. How can I make something better? You know, because they can make something better. And that's not because what they've made isn't really, really impressively good.
I love the production decisions in this song.
Good.
Good. You said it does feel like 4 minutes. It does feel like it's 4 minutes long. But I love all the messy little things that they do, just kind of like the fun with sampling. And it's just like, I like to picture it as, hey, this would be cool. And the two friends are like, this would be pretty cool. And then they put it in and it's pretty cool. There's a part early in the song where it's like, he's repeating the "Do I adore you" line, but it like happens over on top of something that's already happening. And then immediately it gets cut off. I love that stuff.
I think that 5 songs is a really good length for a project.
I think so too.
All right. I also get why that was Conneld's favorite song, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's an LFO. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
The instrumentals are their very strong own voice in these songs. And that is one thing that I think makes them so unique, is kind of having these really strong groove sections.
I agree. The other thing too is sometimes with strong instrumentals, they cannot work well in conjunction with the lyrics. This music is always very this album has been this EP has been very cohesive.
Looks like I'll do it all again. Maybe I should get out of my own way, find a better job or get a new place. But we made it through again to feel the sunshine on your face. I don't want to change. I told my dad to go to hell. But this month, I told him that I wished him well. Maybe I'll change tomorrow. Forget the time I've borrowed from you.
I always like these like drop-offs or rebuild ups, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's a good one.
I'll do a 60 and a 30 and wreck my fucking car. I'll keep on running from you, but I won't get far. I'll set my phone to vibrate. I'll miss your calls. I'll be the one who thinks all my flaws. I'm so tired of being the one who's sorry. I'm sorry.
Whoop!
It's a great project. That's really solid through and through. I think that last song is the weakest song
Really?
on the EP. Maybe the first one. I think the middle 3 were really, really strong.
This track is the one that I remember the least after listening to it a couple times, but I really dug it that time.
I think it's also
It's a good
very
last track.
good,
I
and
think.
I was about to say, yeah,
It's a
I think
really-
it's a very good track to end it.
Also, it is a masterclass ending to the project on just, I'm sorry. And then it's just over. A well done, abrupt ending can
So
be
good.
so potent. And that's just like,
Yeah.
I was thinking about it during that track too. And it's like, there was such a great balance between having a lot going on with production, but not most of the time not feeling overwhelmed.
I don't know if you got this feeling at all, but a lot of the production felt very reminiscent of Inside by Bo Burnham. A lot of this production, they collectively did a really, really good job on this EP.
Conneld, Devin, fucking killed it.
Good job. Okay, it's 4 a.m. I've listened to the album a second time all the way through off camera, and I have some final notes I kind of want to leave this with. This was a really strong EP, especially for someone to release so early in their career. Let's answer the question. Is Conneld Jonneld the next Joji? I don't know, but I do think that going from a humorous, kind of removed content creator to making substantial, meaningful, well-created music is not an easy thing to do, especially in a way that feels so unique to them. I think Joji created music that meant a lot to him, and it felt very stylistic, and I think that's part of the reason he found success. I also think he cared a lot about it, and is pretty passionate about music. I think Conneld's the same. So great job, Conneld. Great EP. If you haven't checked out the music, you should consider listening to the songs in full.